Good morning, yogis. Namaste. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I've been making a lot of these daily mobility routines lately. I just moved into a smaller space, so I feel like a lot of people who are practicing at home, or maybe they're like traveling in a hotel room, you don't necessarily have tons of space to lay out your mat, and or maybe you just don't really feel like getting down on the ground. Maybe you feel like you won't be able to get back up. So this month, the Niyama that I'm focusing on is Tapas, which means discipline. So I think it's helpful to have a daily yoga discipline, a daily practice. So this is something that you can do every day, just to top to bottom, feel good, check in, stretch, breathe, and then it's not too much time, and then you're good to go for your day. So here we go. It is helpful to have a wall. For getting into the feet, we're going to be doing a little bit of calf stretching. But as usual, we'll go ahead and start with the head and the neck. So relaxing the hands down by your sides, feet about hip distance apart, rooting into the earth, maybe dropping ear to shoulder. Maybe roll the head forward, like you're nodding yes. Being very mindful about going back. Maybe you extend your arm out to the side. And then return to center. Shake it out, we'll switch sides, so other ear to other shoulder. You might already feel that one side is different, one side might be a little more stiff, especially if it's in the morning. And then nod forward. Maybe extend the arm out at an angle, reaching away. Maybe find stillness. And then returning through center, shake it out. Dropping chin to chest. Option to clasp the hands behind the head, releasing the elbows towards each other. Breathing into the back of the neck. Opening the elbows wide, returning the head to neutral. Release the arms down by your sides. Maybe you look up. And then we'll find some full neck circles. So take your time. We'll do about 3 in each direction. Maybe exhaling as you come forward, inhaling as you open. One more. And then we'll reverse it. Not forcing anything, just finding some movement. Mobility. Keeping everything else nice and relaxed. And shake it up. All right, we're gonna move into some small arm circles. Arms come out to a T, circling back nice and small. Reverse that, circling forward. Sometimes here I like to add in a little toe lift. Starting to feel into my feet a little bit more. Now release the arms down by your sides. We're gonna take wide arm circles, but just one at a time. So I'm gonna start with this arm, reaching forward, up, and back. Whoops. Maybe you need to step away from the wall. If you want to, you can keep it isolated or incorporate some cat-cow forward and backwards motion with the thoracic spine, with the ribcage. So reverse directions. I think of this as waking up my wings. It's nice to do one arm at a time because both sides of our shoulders tend to be really different from each other. All right, other side. So big arm circles, again, staying isolated here or incorporating some forward and back ribcage motion. I get a lot of good release with this one, this movement. Continuing to lift up from the pelvic floor, through the feet, engaging with the low core. We'll reverse directions, so big arm circles forward. Nice. All right, bringing the palms together at heart center. Really rolling the ankles in and out. Checking in with the feet here. We're going to lift one heel and then the other. So we're kind of switching gears. We start with the neck and head and shoulders. And then we're going to move down to the feet and then work our way back up to the hips. So just marching out your mountain, as I like to call this. If you want a little boost already, if you're ready to kick it up a notch, you can start to sink into chair. This is going to help you warm up your knees. It's going to help you warm up your pelvis. I would press my hands into each other, really spreading the fingers nice and wide. You're going to start to get a little shoulder activation and warming up the wrists. Really just saying hello to your feet here. And then we'll all meet in a chair pose. So you're sinking back, we'll turn to the side. Sinking back the weight into your heels. You can keep your hands on your hips here. Or extend them forward. Or extend them up overhead. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. And then from here, you're just going to walk out your chair. So continuing with that heel lifting motion. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper each time. Just a few more rounds here. Nice and articulate. Trying to get into all the little nooks and crannies in your toes. Maybe you swing your arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers. Find your chair pose. Maybe you extend your arms long, finding a nice opening in the chest. If this is too much, you could just come back up to standing as well. Maybe find a little back bend. You can tuck the chin into the chest here, or maybe your gaze goes up. Lifting up through the heart. Breathe. And then returning to neutral. Shake it all out. We're going to come back up to the shoulders. So bring your arm across the body. You're going to pull it towards you. Don't place pressure directly on your elbow. Try to keep your shoulder out of your ear. I like to keep my fingers nice and active. And I'm finding some leverage between my two arms here so that I'm really getting a nice stretch on the top of my shoulder. One way to up-level this would be to continue to wrap your arms around each other and find your eagle wrap arms. This takes the stretch more into the shoulder blades in the back. I find that I get less of a shoulder stretch here. So they're just different. They're not necessarily better than each other. But if you want to, you could practice nesting your eagle, lifting up, pressing the palms together, lifting the elbows, finding a small back bend that is supported by the strength of the legs, and then curling forward on an exhale, drawing the elbows towards the navel, tucking the chin towards the chest, tucking the tailbone under. So really getting the entire spinal column involved here. Inhale to lift, and exhale, curl forward. Think full spinal mobility. One more. Inhale, and exhale, coming forward. Good. Shake it out. We'll switch sides, so other arm comes across the body. This is my sort of injured arm, so this feels a little more tight for me. So I like to hold this stretch here. So that I can get into the top of that deltoid. Keeping the fingers active, everything nice and light. Then, if you're ready, We can continue to wrap the arms, coming into your eagle wrap, lifting the elbows high. Maybe you practice nesting your eagle. Inhaling, opening, lifting. Heart shines towards the sky. Exhale, rounding forward, bowing in humility. Oh, that was a good one. Inhale, lifting, opening. Exhale, releasing, rounding. One more. And exhale. Back through neutral. Shake it out. One of my favorites, tricep stretch. We're gonna reach your arm up like you're trying to high five somebody behind you, bending, pat yourself on the back, and then press into your elbow until you feel an opening in the back of the arm. I also feel this in my neck. Try not to collapse through the low back. You don't want to be sticking out like this. You want to be supporting and lifting from the pelvic floor up through the low abdominals, toning the thighs, the inner thighs towards one another, grounding through the feet. So even though this stretch is in the upper body, there's a lot happening in the lower body to support it. You can also evolve this into cow-facing arms. Here I think you get more of a heart opener, which is nice. Maybe a little bit less stretch in the tricep. Go ahead and release, shake it out. We'll switch sides. So bringing your arm up like you're trying to high five somebody behind you, patting yourself on the back, pressing onto the back of your arm until you feel that sensation. And breathe. Think about regrounding. If you want to, you can evolve this into your Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms. I cannot reach on this side for whatever reason. So if that happens, you can always just use some kind of a prop like a scarf here. To help you make that connection. Again, get a little bit more of a heart opener here. Lifting up from the glutes, strengthening the legs, firming the thighs, lifting the crown of the head for the ceiling. Nice, long, tall spine. Shoulders are relaxed. Breathing is steady. And then we'll gently release. We're going to come to the wall and stretch out our chest muscles. I'm going to start with my hip facing the wall. I'm going to extend my arm out long behind me. And then really it's up to you how close you want to go to the wall, how much pressure you want to put on it. You could also cactus your arm right here. It's just going to be a slightly different experience, slightly higher. I find this T shape a little bit more intense. It gets a little more into my bicep. Think about spreading your fingers wide on the wall. And then again, however much you want to turn and open yourself away is how deep and intense of a stretch you're going to get. Give it time. The chest muscles are pretty dense. Breathe into it. All right, and we're gonna switch sides. Shake it out. Come in and put your hip against the wall, And then extending the arm out long or coming into the cactus shape. And gently releasing. We're going to stretch out the side body a little bit. So bringing feet together as much as you can. Rooting into the floor, lifting up through the feet, through the thighs, through the pelvic floor, reaching the arms up overhead. Bringing the palms together above your head. Pressing the palms, spreading the fingers wide. Releasing the shoulders down the back out of the ears. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, tip over to the side. We're gonna do this a few times. Inhale to reach, exhale to tip. Think side to side. I have really, really tight side body. Inhale and exhale. So I can't go to the side at all. I've always been like that ever since a child. Maybe you can go really deep, really fast, but I think it's more about how lateral can you get? Thinking about shining your heart towards the ceiling, rather than how deep over you can go. Maybe you press your hips away. Keeping the shoulders out of the ears, I think, is also important. We're gonna hold here. If you want, you can release this hand down to support. Maybe you release your neck. Inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale over to the other side and hold. Maybe you release this arm. Maybe you release your neck. Good. Inhale, reaching up high. Maybe you come up onto your toes. Good. And then we're going to find a forward fold so that we can release everything in the low back. So I'm going to turn this way. We're going to inhale to reach. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward, nice and slow. Take your time. There's no rush. Coming forward with a flat back about halfway. Once you get halfway down, maybe your hands are on your thighs here, or maybe you can extend them overhead. Weight is in the heels so you can lift your toes up off the floor. Hold here, inhale, reach. Exhale, we're gonna release all the way down to the earth. Maybe your fingertips touch the floor or your shins. Wherever you are, just release your neck, release your head. Finding the release in the low back. If you need to, you can bend your knees. This is your forward fold, so make it feel good. Ooh, you can hold elbows. You can bend one knee and then the other, walking out your forward fold. See how this feels on your low back. Tone the belly, and we're gonna roll back up to stand. One vertebrae at a time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, palms together at heart center. We're gonna catch our breath here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more. This time exhaling through the nose. One more. Good. We'll find one more forward fold. Inhale to reach, nice and high. Maybe you look up, maybe you come up onto your toes. Releasing forward, forward fold. Deep breath. And then roll back up. One vertebrae at a time. Inhale to reach. Exhale, palms together at heart center. We're going to start to get into the thighs and hips a little bit, and then we'll do calves, and then we should be pretty much finished. So we'll start with the basic quadricep stretch. I'm going to turn this direction. I'm going to place my hand on the wall for support. I'm going to lean into my foot, and then I'm going to bend my leg. Maybe you can reach around behind and grab your foot, pressing the pelvis forward, finding an opening in the front of the leg, front of the hip. Using your glutes to press the pelvis forward if that feels good for you. We're going to stay here with this hand supporting against the wall. We're going to release the foot. We're going to come into a standing figure four. So bring that knee up to hip height. Bring it out to the side. Roll out that ankle. And then see if you can bring it across your thigh. From here, we're going to find that chair pose again. So you're going to sink backwards like you were sitting in a chair. You should feel a nice opening in the side of your right hip here. If you don't need this support, you can just let go. If you want to bring your palms together in prayer. Find your breath. And then returning back up through standing. Shake it out and we'll switch sides. So pressing your palm against the wall. Shifting the weight into that foot. Maybe you bend your knee. Maybe you go for that flamingo quadricep stretch. Maybe you add kind of a heart opener, shoulder opener, or not. Two more breaths here. All right, and then gently release. You're gonna swing your arm forward into a standing knee raise. We're gonna bring it out to the side and then across, ankle over thigh, and then maybe you sink back into your chair. I'm gonna bring my palms together at heart center again, and then return to your breath. Good, and then return through center. We're gonna get into the hamstrings a little bit more. Starting in mountain, you're gonna extend your leg forward. You can use the wall for support, flexing the toes towards your face, hands on your hips. You can come forward with a flat back. This back knee can be bent or straight. If you wanted to, you could come into like a pyramid as well. We're really just kind of targeting the back of the legs here. So make it feel good for you, make it make sense for you. I have a lot of openness in the back of the body, so I can just sort of go for the floor here. And this feels pretty good. We're gonna gently come back up. Switch sides. So again, option to extend that leg forward, flexing the toes towards your face, and then leaning forward, or come into a pyramid with your front leg straight. Come forward with a flat back. You could have hands on the hips or use the wall for support here. Bring hands to floor, blocks, shin, whatever works for you. Breathe. Gently coming back up. We're gonna hit those hips again. So we're gonna do the same stretch, starting with the right side. So you might notice that your hip is a little bit more open now. You're gonna shift the weight into the foot closest to the wall, bringing the leg up to hip height, out to the side. Maybe you make some little circles here, really getting into that socket, ball and socket joint, and then drawing the ankle across your thigh, sink back into your standing pigeon or figure 4 chair. Maybe you can actually bring your hands down to the floor. Maybe use your elbow to open it up a little bit. Continuing to hold here. And then gently rolling up. We're going to switch sides. And then we're going to stretch our calves, and then we'll be done. All right. So shifting the weight into the wall, the foot closest to the wall. Bringing that leg up to hip height, out to the side. Find some little hip circles maybe. Other direction. Bring that ankle across the thigh, sink back into your chair pose. Maybe you go just a little bit deeper this time. Maybe you bring the hands to the floor. One more breath here. And then gently returning to stand. All right, calves. So it's definitely helpful to have a wall for this one. We're gonna start by stretching the upper portion of the right calf. So I'm gonna turn to face the wall, pressing my hands nice and firm, gentle micro bend in the elbows, spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing into the heel of the hand. I'm gonna step back with my right foot and hold. Lift up the heel, stretch out the bottom of the foot, stretch out those toes. And then we'll switch sides. So I'm just gonna step back with my left foot. Lift up the heels, stretch out the toes and the bottom of the foot a little bit. All right, we're gonna go back to the right leg, but we're gonna stretch out the bottom of the calf, the Achilles or like the heel. So I'm gonna step back with my right foot, but my right knee will be bent this time. Stretch out those toes. We'll do the other side, so think like chair pose legs. So I'm gonna step back with my left leg, but bend my left foot. I'm sorry, my left knee. Get a tiny bit closer. All right. Ooh. Definitely a lot going on in there. All right. One more stretch. We're going to do the feet. So we're just going to sink down into a yogi toe squat. So you can use the wall for support, obviously. You're going to start to shift the weight back into your heels. We're actually going to come all the way down to the floor so that your full weight is on your knees and feet here. You might already be feeling enough sensation. If you want to, you can lower your knees down to the earth. And then you're really going to start to get an opening in the feet and the toes. You can bring your palms together at heart center. Coming back to your yogi toe squat, and then if you want to, you can use the power of your thighs very carefully to lift yourself back up. Shake it out. Inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together at heart center. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I hope you enjoyed this daily mobility routine that is about 30 minutes long that you can do every day to practice tapas, which means discipline. Namaste.